What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Boozer here. Thanks for stopping by. We are on the test server today, so thank you, Plarium, for allowing us access to that. And we will be testing one of the new rebalanced champions, Warchief. Previously, pretty bad champion. The only real case to use him was for Magma Dragon and Doom Tower, but now actually buffed pretty significantly, and I think his kit's actually really interesting. It's actually definitely made me want to test him out. But here is the Warchief. It is on the test server, so the changes are not live yet, just to make sure that's clear. Let's show his current kit up against his new updated kit, so you guys get a better idea of what we're working with. Right here on the left-hand side, we have his current existing kit, and we'll talk through his new kit here. His A1 has a triple hit, provoke, 25% chance, and a small heal for your lowest HP ally only. It's not a team heal or anything like that, unfortunately. It's a little bit better, I think, in terms of like general usage, because his original current move is actually has a damage inflicted as proportional to defense. I'm not quite sure what that means, but it's probably more of a damage dealing ability, whereas his updated kit will be more of a support ability, so it's 3% heal instead of extra damage. His books also change a little bit, so they take away some of his damage, or they actually combine his damage into the first two books, and then they add 2 healing books, which is a little bit of a waste, to be honest, but it's there. It's a little bit of a change. Keep in mind that 3 hits at 25% chance gives you roughly about a 50-50 to land. It's not that great. For example, like Husk is a double hit 50%, which is like a 75% chance to land, which is better than Warchief. But Warchief does have a triple hit A1, which makes him maybe viable in like other areas as well. And also the heal is pretty nice as well. Anyways, onto his A2. This is basically his like bread and butter move. He attacks one enemy when and then he steals all the buffs on the target, and he places a provoke on that enemy for 3 turns. The 3-turn provoke, guys. Most champions only have like a 1-turn provoke. We have Molly, which is like occasionally a 2-turn provoke. And then you have Warchief laying the smackdown with a 3-turn provoke. It also has a 50% chance, fully booked up to 75% chance of placing the provoke on all enemies, not just that one. So 1 and then all. And then places a big shield on all your allies. The value of the shield is proportionate to this champion's defense. We'll test out the shield as well, see how good it is. But it's pretty nice, right? Like you get a massive 3-turn provoke on a 3-turn cooldown ability, which is really nice. And then you get an AoE provoke potential. And then you get a big shield on top, which is actually really good in terms of a 3-turn ability. I mean, it has CC, it has protection as well. And it's kind of weird that this champion is basically on his A2 has so much damage in his books, like 40% damage from his books. He actually has pretty decent multipliers too. I believe his Marauder ability is like a like a mid 4.3, 4.4, 4.5x multiplier. It's actually pretty decent. So he can hit. So if you want to build him for damage, he can hit. But I think his place is probably better just as mostly a support champion. But if you can build him as a support champion with damage dealing stats, you know, he can definitely contribute some damage there. But yeah, this is a really good move. 3-turn cooldown with a 3-turn provoke. You basically have the enemy locked down completely, which is super nice. And his passive also got reworked as well. Previously, it was the reflect passive with 60% of the damage taken back to the attacker. Decreases defense increases by 15% for each dead ally. That doesn't work at all. This buff or update is much better just in general usage. The ally under shields, when they're hit, they heal by 25% of damage dealt to the shield. So it's kind of like instead of reflecting the damage, it's actually like basically healing you. So it's like the opposite. So previously, I think they wanted Warchief to be more of a damage dealer, and now they're making him more like a support champion. But I don't think they went all the way, you know what I mean? Because they left damage in his kit, they left his multipliers the same. So they didn't really go full support. They left some of his damage dealing stuff still in his kit, which is kind of weird. And his defense will now increase by 10% for each enemy and under provoke, which is basically super nice. And then his defense will increase by 5% for each enemy not under provoke, which means he gets a guarantee boost in his defense because enemies will start off not provoked. So he basically starts the round with guaranteed increase to his defense, which is super nice and way better than his current passive, which is total garbage. Afterwards, he actually gets a super relevant aura as well, plus 60 accuracy in all battles. Very good as well. Previously had no aura. So they made him much better in terms of just overall usefulness. You can just use him in more areas. I think he's better as a support than as a damage dealer. But we'll test him out. And I think his best spot is obviously going to be Hydra. I think he can still play and help you in various areas. Like I said, he's going to be the GOAT against the Magma Dragon. But since he has this AoE provoke, as well as some, protection, right? He protects your team. He's going to be very, very viable just for general dungeon crawling, right? He might even just help you through Doom Tower, just giving your team some more, survivability. His passive also gives your team healing as well, which is really, really nice. And then, of course, his A1 gives you healing as well, and also, a targeted provoke. And his aura, very good for mid-game or early-game players. So I think this guy's overall new kit, much, much more better, and definitely more viable for newer players. Let's check out the build that I got him in, and we'll test him out in what I think is his best spot, and it's going to be Hydra. All right, guys, so this is my Warchief. So Warchief has pretty decent defense, pretty low HP, decent speed, and he comes with a nice fat 50 resistance to start. So it got me thinking, like, okay, how best to make the most use out of him in Hydra, because he doesn't have enough buffs to warrant like a protection set. He can't really utilize like a hex set because he has no AoE attack. Like he has single attack and then single attack, so you can't really utilize like a hex set or a curse set. Giving him Relentless, for example, he's just going to cycle through his shield really fast. He doesn't really need to use Relentless, just kind of burning off attacks with his A1, so that's not really important. You don't really need to cycle through his A2 so quickly to get the provoke back, because the provoke's already 3 turns. So I ruled out Relentless as well. You could deal him, build him out in damage, but I think he's more support geared now. So I chose with the regeneration set, give him a little bit of healing. Yes, he provides shield, so he can self-sustain himself, but the healing definitely helps, especially when he's taking some extra damage from the provokes. I have him geared out to be a mischief tank, actually, because he does have that fat resistance stat to begin with, so it makes it a little bit easier to build up his resistance. So I have him geared out in a guardian set. This provides like a small ally protection to your whole team. You can see here, absorbs 10% of all of the damage dealt to your ally champion, and then it provides a 10% heal as well. So I gave him a guardian set just so you can support the rest of your team. And then I gave him a blood shield ring so that he gets an extra small shield, extra buff as well, so that he will get targeted by the Head of Mischief a little bit more frequently. I built him with resistance so that he can handle the Head of Mischief. You just need enough resistance to handle whatever difficulty you're planning to do. If you're doing like the lowest difficulty of Hydra, you probably don't need 400-ish. You probably need like 375. In terms of overall accuracy on the lowest difficulty, maybe 200 is good enough. But if you're planning to use him in like Nightmare or something, you probably need about this much resistance and a little bit more accuracy, maybe about 320 accuracy. Speed, again, it's dependent on what kind of content, what level content you're doing mainly. But I would always shoot for supports to be about 250. If you're doing low difficulty, then maybe like 220, 225. And then your damage dealers will be lower than that. Defensive stats, HP stats seem pretty standard. I didn't really glyph them up or anything like that. I do have some ascended gear, but this is like mainly for speed, defense, and resistance here. Got a nice banner, got a little 3-piece bonus here. Cheeky 3-piece bonus for the extra 15% defense, but that's definitely not necessary. But yeah, we're going to test him out in Hydra and see how he does. I think he's going to do pretty good. We're just going to be doing hard Hydra here just to see how he works. All right, let's do some playtesting with this team here. So we got Mishnaki with the AoE decreased defense, Hex, and some damage. Quintus here for some damage. Warchief's going to be Provoke, Mischief tank, and then also brings some protection with the shields. Podrick brings extra damage, brings a cleanse, brings some healing. AoE decreased defense, block buffs. Ugo's also in a Hex set, so he brings additional Hex. Yostrid in a Hex set and bringing the speed up, speed down, weaken. So, I mean, generally a pretty balanced build. We have a lot of coverage on a lot of the debuffs. We have like 3 champions for Hex, for example. Podrick, I think, is in protection set. I think if I were to like fine tune this team a little bit, maybe Eostrid would be in a protection set as well. But yeah, we'll see how this one goes. Yeah, haven't played with it yet, so let's see what happens. All right, mainly we want to test out the provoke from the Warchief here. So let's ally attack into the Head of Mischief, see if we can get a provoke off with the triple hit. There it is. We did land it very nicely. All right, and then let's see if we can control this Head of sorry, not Head of Decay, not Head of Mischief. Sorry, my bad. All right, let's see what we can do here. Let's boost that up to a 3-turn provoke, okay? And then we'll get the shield up as well. Let's see how big the shield is actually. Boom, 3 turns and a pretty sizable shield actually. Warchief did have the increased defense. I'm not too sure. Maybe you gotta check that out again. But not too sure there. All right, Quintus gonna be laying down the damage here. Nice little smack. Turn meter boosting. But nice little shield here from the Warchief. Good to see. 3-turn provoke. I mean, the Head of Decay is basically done. Like, oh my goodness, unbelievable. Actually, stolen was at a 3% right off the bat. That's a little bit unfortunate, 3% right off the bat. But it's good that Warchief got targeted, right? If he's getting targeted, that means his extra buffs are definitely working. All right, let's get rid of those buffs. 3-turn provoke. We don't have to worry about the Head of Decay again. All right. Quintus doing some smacks. AoE decreased defense. Let's run our guy into the poison head so we can free up the Head of Mischief. All right. It's actually kind of nice. Like, you don't even have to think about the Head of Decay anymore. Kind of nice actually. Not perfect coverage though, because we got our buffs stolen right away. But it should be fine if Warchief didn't have the buff stolen. All right, we need a shield right about now. And there it is. Back up to 3 turns. Oh, we couldn't steal his stuff because it's a weak hit. Okay, because it was a weak hit, we couldn't steal the stuff and we didn't land the provoke. Actually, no, sorry. The AoE provoke failed. Well, actually, no, sorry. The AoE provoke is only on a 1 turn. So the Head of Decay was already on a 2 turn. Therefore, the provoke did not land. Okay, that makes sense. Sorry, guys. All right, let's get back into this. But yeah, like I was saying, it's very nice to not worry about the Head of Decay at all, because basically it's fully provoked the whole time. Just chilling. All right. And pop this guy. Quintus is A1 really smacks, guys. If you guys got Quintus, I know not everyone's going to have Quintus because live arena, you know what I mean? But he does pretty good damage. All right. Warchief not doing insane amounts of damage here. He's not really built for it, so it's pretty good. I mean, you know, we just really fought the Head of Decay one time, and you know, he was basically fully locked down. Good to see. I just want to see. Let's take this team into a higher difficulty. All right, so let's take this team up against Nightmare and see if the extra incoming damage we can maybe help out a little bit with the Warchief ability here. So Warchief shield, obviously increasing his own defense. Big shield here is very nice. All right, so Warchief coming in here. Let's do the provoke. 3-turn provoke. Resisted. All right. So obviously there's going to be some issues here with getting resisted and affinity issues. So yeah, something to look out for Warchief. Let's try that again. I mean, he has enough. He has enough accuracy. We do have Hydra boost, so he's probably over 300 accuracy, and we are only on brutal difficulty. So there's the 1-turn provoke from his A1, so it land. Like I said, guys, it's about a coin flip to land his provokes on his A1. All right, let's try to land it here for a 3-turn, and boom, 3-turn with the big shield. Nice. All right, let's see if we can get a big slam in from the Head of Wrath and see how much shield damage we actually take. Okay, good. There we go. Resisted the Head of Mischief. Perfect. That is the Warchief doing its job in its correct build. It's built to be the Mischief tank here, and it landed the Provoke, which we needed, and it took the hit from the Mischief and resisted it because we have the proper resistance. Let's see if the shields can take the damage here from the Head of Wrath. We're going to try to crank up his meter here. Get the triple hit in. Healing up Mishinaki there. Okay. And boom. Big smack. We do have attack down, but it basically didn't do any kind of damage even through our own shield. So really, really nice to see. Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's a huge boost. Honestly, I'm not going to lie. His kit got massively improved by this balance to the point where he's actually usable in Hydra. Like, he's actually usable. Totally fine. You know, obviously in Hydra nowadays, you kind of want your champions to do as much as possible. In that case, like, his kit isn't like perfect for it because you can put a hex set on him, for example. He doesn't give you more damage. For example, you can't put a protection set on him. But you know, he can do a lot in terms of supporting your team, shields, heals, obviously control. But he's not going to be able to, you know, boost your damage. So I think he's better as a progression champion, just to help you get through some content, like wave-based content, for example. And get the 3-turn, and there it is, 3 turns. So now we never have to worry about the Head of Decay. Or, yeah, the Head of Decay. It's just really, really nice, guys. Anyways, guys, let's hop out of this. I think we've seen enough from Warchief. All right, guys, I think that's going to be it for the video. Hopefully, I showed you guys some different cases for using him. Hopefully, I showed you guys that he's actually way better than, you know, he was previously. Because previously, his kit just doesn't make any sense. And it's pretty bad. He's probably supposed to be a damage dealer, but it just came up super short. If you guys had a blessing for him, I would probably take maybe Cruelty, since he has maybe Cruelty probably the best, just to help support your damage dealers a little bit more, help you get a little bit more out of him. Doesn't look like his survivability is that bad. And against PvE content, having high defense is going to be pretty good, just to mitigate damage, for example. You probably wouldn't be using him in Arena, for example. Check out the Masteries here. I got him in Unshakable. If you need accuracy, you probably go down to Eagle Eye. You could even justify taking Giant Slayer on him for some additional damage, but I don't think he's going to be doing that much damage, so you might as well just crank up his defense and support to give him some, you know, better survivability. I increased his shield ability just to help support the team a little bit better. Lasting gifts for longer shields. Extra A1s here just in case. The A1s do offer a little bit of healing for your lowest champion, so a little bit useful there, but I don't think he massively benefits from Masteries, to be, for example. Like, if you can hit your resistance and accuracy stats, you can probably get away with no Masteries on him. In terms of books, you probably have to book him out. Maybe his A1 you can leave. If you can avoid his A1, that'll be perfect. But I think his A2 definitely needs to be booked. Yeah, it definitely needs to be booked. Maybe he can run without books fully, because the debuff chance is actually on the 50%. And the 3-turn cooldown versus like a 4-turn cooldown isn't really that bad, to be honest. So he might be a candidate that you just fully ignore books on, 2, 4, 5, 2, 4, 6, and save 11 books. I think that's a good idea, guys. So I think if you guys want to use them without books, use them without Masteries. Just give him a proper build, and he can actually do a lot of work for you guys. So anyways, guys, hopefully I showed you guys what he's capable of. Hopefully I managed to convince you guys to take him out of the vault and give him a try in Hydra, especially if you guys are just progressing through and you guys need a good support that can provoke for you guys. Anyways, folks, thanks a lot for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know in the comments below if you guys are planning on using your Warchief at all. And actually, you know what? One more thing before I outro myself. Actually, I just remembered. But in Doom Tower, room 103, this wave, you no longer have to worry about your Seer team getting blown up. If you guys do Doom Tower often, you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. You guys don't have to worry about these stages anymore and blowing up your Seer. And I think, you know, obviously this change to his Warchief's passive, you know, makes it a little bit easier for this wave, right? Let's see what happens here. Get there eventually. All those counterattack provokes. But where's that Seer? Boom, there we go. And our Seer's alive. Oh my goodness. So there you go, guys. Anyways, just wanted to show that. That's a little bit of a side thing, but everybody knows about the War Chiefs that just nukes their Seer when they're going through the Doom Tower. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think, and I'll see you guys in the next one.